class.
We've had that situation. If it's the beginning of the semester, you have a better chance of getting them out. If you're talking about the middle to end of the semester, we have to keep them in. We have to keep them in there. They have to keep showing up, and we have to just kind of deal with it. Now we'll make them, make a cold whirlpool or make ice bags and things like that. They still have to work. They're still there. They're still earning a grade, so they're going to have to do some work. We'll have to find something for them to do.
All right, what about you guys over in Allen?
I think one of the things that helps us, especially at the end of the day, we have, Maryland started this a while back, we have an EOD, end of the day meetings every day. And it may be just, bullcorning around for a couple of them, but a lot of it is if we see a situation or something that needs to be addressed at the end of the day that happened during practice or during school or just to meet on some things that we need to cover, we'll talk about it, and the kids will share their feedback too. So that's helped in that standpoint of trying to squash some things before it gets started, whether it's a chew-up session or whether it's a correction or whether it's just providing information to them that they need to know about what's going on.
If we have a situation like that to where we do have to release somebody, but we can't because of scheduling reasons and whatnot, we basically do kind of like what Chris was talking about. They have specific jobs they have to do in that time period that they're in here, and cleaning, bleaching, doing treatments, doing ice bags, that kind of thing, to where they're still participating in the class that they're supposed to be participating in until that time when we can change our schedule.
All right. You guys, anything?
Students, how many do you see actually continuing on to college?
We actually have a few that are professional ATCs right now in some of the local high schools around our area. We have a few in college settings right now, one at OU, one at OBU, one at Midwestern State, one at, who else is out? We have a handful of them that are out and about at various colleges. With our seniors, I'd say we have 4 or 5 that go into it once they graduate here. So
I'd say total numbers maybe 3%, 2 to 3%. In all honesty,
Right.
Because others go on, they may find something else in the medical profession. They just may find something totally different. Period. To do. But what we're here to do is provide them a lifelong skill that if they want the opportunity to go into it, they can. What we have found is that our students end up sometimes going backwards and get very frustrated the way the curriculum process is. I mean, our kids hate sitting on the sidelines for 1 year, and then the second year you're basically allowed to only do these things. We had a kid who's at Midwestern State. They started doing that to her, and she's full of spunk and pretty forceful. They made her tape blindfolded, and she flat out did it on them. I mean, she taped an ankle blindfolded and did it better than some of their juniors and seniors they have. I mean, that's how driven this girl is. But we have a hard time with our kids, and some of them will just flat out say, "I'm not doing this. I'll find something else to do."
All right, so parent involvement, I think, is a big part of your program, probably, because if you guys are going to state in football playoffs, you probably have a lot of community and parent support. I know Chris has done a lot of good things with the community, and we talked about that last time. This year was our first year ever to have a mandatory parent meeting. So all of our students, before they could work practice during summer workouts or whatever it was, we had to meet them and their parents. So they had to come up here with their parents. So we could just say, hey, this is who we are. Your kids are going to spend a lot of time with us. This is what we expect. If there's any way you want to be involved, let me know, and we can, have you on field trips, or you can come to our parties or whatever, that kind of thing. And so I think that's a good first step for us. But what ways do you encourage, or what is your experience with parent involvement? And we'll go ahead and start with Chris again.
Parents are, it's better if they're not involved, I would say. Now, some of them, they want to be more involved and they want to know what's going on all the time. Usually our freshman parents. But after that, after their freshman year, usually we don't hear from the parents at all. They know that their kid's taken care of with us, and they know that they're going to spend probably more more time with us, waking time with us, than they are at home. And I think that the parents, after that first year, is kind of shock to them as how much time they do spend there, and the parents want to know why or whatever. But after that first year, we don't. I usually don't see the parents again until they graduate.
So the thing I have is I want the parents to understand how much time it takes, so that they're not like, oh, you need to, why are you not home at 6 o'clock? Well, because it's a game. It doesn't end at 6 o'clock. It ends at 6:30, and then we have to clean up. Or the parents, I want them to know and to be involved, because I'll sit up here for an hour and a half after practice waiting for parents to come pick up kids. Look, I got a life too. I want you to know who I am, that I'm not just your kids aren't just here free. We're sitting here waiting on them to be picked up. I need you to come get your kid.
Right.
So that's one of the things that, I think a parent meeting is important, but I just want to know how to improve parent involvement without making them overbearing. So
I think, you're doing it right, though. You let them know your expectations right away. There is no end time. There's a start time to everything, but I think that's the hardest thing for parents to understand. When can I pick up my kid? Well, I don't know. When practice is done, I guess.
All right, what y'all got?
We used to do a parent meeting until we got so big, and a lot of times it was always the freshman parents that would come in, and because it was new, it was something new that their child was involved in, and we would lay out our expectations. And during our workshop, I hand out about a 9-page handbook of every detail and expectation that we have for all our kids, 9 through 12. We go over it. We take about an hour and a half to 2 hours to go over every single detail and answer all their questions that they have from the very beginning. We have them take it home. Their parents are supposed to read it. Hopefully they do, and then sign it as well. So, and we always have lines of communication anytime any parents want to contact us for anything. During the football season, we don't have a booster club per se, but we have some of our parents have volunteered to be trainer liaisons with our football booster club. And so they've gotten involved with them on a few things, banquet stuff, stuff in the training room, decorations, snacks, that kind of thing. And we've had a good deal with that. One of our parents did an awesome job this year on helping us to get the newscast put on, and that's been a great deal for us. They've been awesome on doing a lot of other things for us this year. So we don't have a lot of parent involvement with the older kids, but always open line of communication anytime they have questions. They want answers. Why is my child up there this long? And we also hit on communication. We tell our kids, look, communication is going to be the biggest key on everything in here. You have to communicate with us. You have to communicate with your parents. You need to let them know that I'm going to be done at this time and that they need to be picking you up at this time, for the exact reason you guys just said, that, we have lives too. We want to get home and get to our families and whatnot. And we want to make sure that our kids are getting home too, to their families, and getting their homework done and stuff like that.
Usually about 10 minutes out from a road trip, they're usually calling. Mm-hmm. Now our older ones don't, because most of them have cars, but on JV trips and that, when they're about 10 minutes out away, we tell them call or text and pick you up. The other thing, communication wise, is we post everything on our website for the week, and then we also communicate through Twitter with them, with our students. So and our parents can follow it if they use Twitter. Otherwise, they would have to get online. One of the things our parents do volunteer for is each week, whether it's JV and varsity, they have team dinners on Tuesday nights. So parent involvement, 2 parents probably get together, whatever, and the varsity girls go, and then the JV girls meet at another person's house, and they organize team dinners, and that's their team thing that they do for the week outside of having to do a game or something. But as far as parent involvement, it usually it tails off by the time they're seniors. And Chris, you're right. You don't see them again until it's senior night, and you're saying hi. There are some parents more involved than others.
I'm sure you've got a lot of involvement in your community with those parents.
Sometimes we get too much, and it causes a little mom drama.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I would like parents to be involved, but I don't want them to be overly involved. So like you said, booster club, fundraising, everything falls kind of on me or Bill, to where if we want to raise money, we don't have anybody supporting us. Well, this year from the parent meeting, I had one of my students her dad said, "Hey, I own a company. If you need to, if you need me to sponsor something, well, now we have a T-shirt with his name on the back of it. We got free T-shirts for the kids this year." But that was because of the parent meeting. But then now he's not involved in every single thing we do. But so I think it's a good first step, the parent meeting. So I just want to figure out how to manage that, and maybe for other people, like our 2 U of H students here, they may be high school student athletic trainers. So just some things you need to think about or consider there. So, any other thoughts on what? Do you have something?
Out of all the aspects of athletic training, the pros, college, clinic, why did y'all choose high school athletic?
Who wants to start? Go ahead.
Okay. I chose it just because I played sports in high school. I really enjoyed just the whole atmosphere, the athletics, all that stuff, the friends, the camaraderie, and I wanted to do something in the medical field. So it was a great way to put it together. I don't really care for the travel for professional and college levels. I like being at home. I really like the one high school town we have here. It's a very unique, cool atmosphere, especially on a Friday night or on our Saturday playoff games now. And it's just been great. And it's fun working with the high school kids because you're able to teach them. They're like a clean slate. You're able to teach them and mold them in certain ways, and hopefully that they soak it in and they enjoy it as well and go on to bigger and better things, regardless if it's athletic training or not. I've only worked at Allen. I've only, been in a high school setting, so I can't necessarily say this is the best out of all of them, but it's all I know. So I really enjoy it.
I've worked in all three that you mentioned. I've been in the clinical setting. I've been at the college level and now at the high school level. And for me in the clinic, I liked it. I liked working with the general population, but I really wanted to work more with athletes and the athletic trainers are limited in a physical therapy clinic. So I worked back at the college that I had graduated from, and the travel eventually got to me. I mean, I loved working with the athletes, but the time commitment, it's 7 days a week. You're playing football on Saturday. You're doing 2 treatments on Sundays. You're on the road. I went straight from football to women's basketball. And again, you're playing on Saturday, you're traveling home or flying home on Sunday, and I wanted to start a family. So shortly after I got married is when I came here to Allen, and I haven't regretted it at all. I love it here. And just like we've said, we run it like a college program. It was not any different. We actually had a student that had graduated from here at Allen that was a student of mine at the University of North Texas. And as soon as she started taping, we looked at her and went, "Where did you go to high school?" Because she knew exactly what she was doing. And when I came here and was on staff here at Allen, I can see why. They run it like a college program. And it was an easy transition for me. And I haven't regretted it at all. I really like working at this setting. And again, me working with the freshmen, it's nice because like Marilyn was saying, they're a clean slate. Something simple as the teaching taping and things like that is really fun with them. And they're just little sponges and they soak everything up. And I love that aspect.
For me, I've done several. I worked in a clinic when I was in college, and to me, working in the clinic I learned a lot. There's a lot. I used to do one of my favorite things is whirlpool debridement in wound care because we were a full-fledged clinic when I was in Wichita Falls, and we did everything, cardiac care, all of it. The problem is you're limited in there just by the population itself. You can't do things with general population people that you can do things with athletes. Sometimes you can experiment on athletes and they'll soak it up and it'll be successful. You just can't do that in the general population. So the positives to it though, when you're in a clinic is you can be 9 to 5 or 8 to 6 or however they structure their hours, but you're going to be paid differently in there, and you're going to be limited on what you want to do. Work semi-pro baseball. It's a rough life. You're gone. You're on the bus. You're gone for 2 or 3 days in a hotel, maybe back. Could be gone out a week, and it's brutal. Your whole sleep patterns, everything else are just thrown off because you're playing ball at night. You may go eat dinner after the game. Then you're sleeping in till about 11. All of a sudden, they got to be back at the park for hitting practice at this time, and you're trying to do treatments on the road or back at your own place. And I had a job offer with the Steelers, not the Steelers, the Pirates organization in minor league baseball, and it was something. I had young kids, and it's like, why? for 8 months out of the year, you're going to be on the road, and then opportunity to go to Mexico and do all